Hello, Nasdaq followers, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bell. It is almost 3 o'clock, which means that we are gearing up for the closing bell here with Chicago Innovation Awards. Joining me right now is the founder of Chicago Innovation Awards, Tom Kuzmarski. Now, this organization has been around since 2002. I'm so excited to talk to you about developments and why you're here ringing the closing bell.
Oh, it's so exciting to be here. You know, we've been doing this now with the Chicago Innovation Award winners for the past 9 years. And it's so important because innovators in Chicago, in my view, are the real stars. And it's really what is driving the economy, creating new jobs, and really making consumers and customers have a totally new array of services and products that they can get connected to.
Now, Chicago is such a vibrant city. I'm from Chicago, so I am very excited about this interview. What do you think makes for a vibrant economy from an entrepreneurship perspective in Chicago?
Sure. Well, you know, what's been so fascinating to see, Leanne, is over the past 2 decades, over the past 20 years, I'd say Chicago has moved from being a large corporation town where lots and lots of big, multi-billion-dollar corporations would have their offices, to today, we still have those large corporations, but today has really become an innovation ecosystem, which has incubators, which has academia and government being involved with the growth of entrepreneurship. And most importantly, we, as a city, I think have come together more than ever before to support and to build a culture of innovation for entrepreneurs, startups, and tech players.
Now, you have been doing this again since 2002, and you just mentioned, right, as we were getting ready for this interview, that you've rang the bell 7 years in a row.
Yes.
So there are many generations upon generations of Chicago Award winners. We're going to be interviewing a few of them in just a couple of minutes. What are some of the commonalities that you've noticed among the winners in terms of personality, characteristics?
Sure, that's a great question. I'd say there's 3 more or less common characteristics. The first is perseverance. They are people that, they've got an idea. There's always lots of people out there that will tell you why it's not a good idea. And so you've got to continue to, persevere and have some of your own grit underlying your own belief in that idea. The second, though, it's got to be a support system. You can't do it on your own. And in fact, I often say that innovation is not a single sport, a single person sport. It's a team sport. Innovation is absolutely a team sport. And so you have to have a group of people, whether it's internal to your own organization or connected with other vendors and suppliers and board members, whomever those constituents are, who also believe and share your vision. And the third is that you need to have done some customer research. You need to have really understood from customers what it is that they value about your product or your service and how they're going to use it and what it's going to be used for.
Now, looking at some of the winners that we'll be talking to in just a few minutes, we have some pretty local people, but displaying global ideas. We have someone looking at personalized selfie videos from celebrities, someone else connects families to babysitters. So in terms of keeping that essence of Chicago, what kind of entrepreneurs do you find really thrive in Chicago?
Well, but see, that's the beauty of Chicago. I mean, in fact, that's why 18 years ago when I started the Chicago Innovation Awards, it really was to signal 2 important things. One was Silicon Valley is not the source of all great innovation in this country, because in fact Chicago has amazing innovations going on all the time. But the second was the breadth of innovation that occurs in Chicago. And in fact, Chicago represents an economy where no more than 13% of the total workforce is in any single industry. So that's what we see is we have everything from fintech and consumer goods to industrial goods and energy and manufacturing going on in Chicago's innovation ecosystem.
So Chicago is indeed a very global city, and I mean, I certainly can tell that from its diversity and its ranging neighborhoods and tastes and needs. What does the next 5 to 7 years look like for Chicago Innovation Awards?
Well, we have a new mayor election that'll be coming up in just a week.
Which and first African-American woman.
First African-American woman to be mayor of Chicago, which is terrific. And I think I think what we have to see in Chicago is the continuation of this momentum for entrepreneurship, for incubators, for business, for high tech that has really brought us down a path of increased job creation and higher economic growth. So I think that's going to be essential. But you know, the other thing has got to be issues that range from education to violence. And these social issues need to become in the forefront of Chicago's leaders, both business and government leaders. And I think it's really important that we all kind of embrace these issues as we move forward with a great city of Chicago.
Absolutely. Now, I want to highlight some of the efforts that you're working on. Namely, you do have a women co-op mentoring program. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, yeah. This is a great program we started 4 years ago called the Women Mentoring Co-op. And it was aimed at trying to get women mentors and mentees together to really, increase business acumen, but also their own self-confidence. And we started out the first year with 25 mentors and mentees. Over the last 4 years, we've had 337 women participate, and this year we'll have 100 mentors and mentees. And we had an event just 2 weeks ago, and the energy in the room was like off the charts. And it's just been so great to see. And I know it's working because I've had a lot of men say to me, well, how can I join this,
That's a really good sign.
mentoring co-op? And I said, you can't, because it's for women only.
Yeah, no, it's a really good sign, though, that they're showing that interest.
Yes.
It's important.
Yep.
Now, you also have a Taste of Innovation event coming up, which sounds delicious.
We sure do. And we'll have the neighborhoods of Chicago that will be portrayed at this. So you'll be able to get taste pierogies from the Polish area to Cuban food, Mexican food, Greek food. And I think what's so important is that that's what makes Chicago so unique, is that it's not just one type of innovation. It's not just tech innovation, but it cuts across. And food innovation is a very important part.
Huge.
And its restaurants are just booming and just doing great.
Well, I am ready for my second lunch right about now. Tom, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you at the closing bell.
Such a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Nasdaq followers, that has been Tom Kuzmarski, who is founder of Chicago Innovation Awards. Stay tuned for the closing bell, and as we meet some of the